was the year 2015. Karma had finally finished his graduation. For almost 15 years, he did everything he was told to do. He studied hard, maintained good attendance, submitted his assignment on time, followed the rules, respected his teachers, and believed in the system. For him, education was not just about getting a certificate. It was a hope. Hope that one day, all the hard work would pay off. And finally, after years of studying, Karma got his degree. His family was proud, his relatives congratulated him, and for a short moment, it felt like life was finally moving to a right direction. So in this video, let's talk about a difficult but very important question. Why is education failing to connect with real jobs in developing countries? Karma started applying for jobs. Every vacancy he saw, he applied. Government jobs, private jobs, and any jobs that looked possible. But one by one, the rejections came. Some companies never replied. Some interviews went nowhere. Some jobs already had too many applicants, and some jobs needed experience that a fresh graduate simply did not have. Days turned into weeks, weeks turned into months. And slowly, Karma started changing. He became quiet. He stopped meeting friends. He avoided relatives. He did not feel confident in speaking to people anymore because everyone seems to ask the same question. So, did you get a job? That one question started to hurt because for Karma, not having a job did not only mean not earning. It felt like he was failing. It felt like people were looking at him differently. It felt like all those years of studying were suddenly being questioned. His confidence, his self-esteem went down, and many nights he stayed in his room, silently praying for just one chance, just one job. Then almost 6 months after graduation, Karma finally got an offer from a private company. The salary was low, the job was not perfect, it was not exactly the future he had imagined, but Karma did not hesitate. He accepted it because at that point he did not need a dream job. He just needed a start. At first it felt exciting. He had workplace to go to. He had a salary coming in and he could finally say, I'm working now. And for a while that felt like progress. But after a few months something started to feel different. The salary was not enough. The work was not really connected to what he studied. The growth was slow and the future was still uncertain. That was when Karma started asking himself a question that many graduates quietly ask. If I studied for all these years, why does my future still feel so unstable? And this is where the story begins. Because Karma's story is not only about one person. It is the story of many young graduates in Bhutan, Nepal, India, and many other developing countries. It is a story of education, expectations, job market reality, and eventually migration. Maybe this is one of the biggest reasons why so many people start looking towards countries like Australia, Canada, USA, and others. Not always because they want to leave home, not always because they do not love their country, but because they feel there is no clear path to grow if they stay. So why does this gap happen? So why are so many educated young people struggling to find a meaningful work? So there are many reasons, but let's keep it simple. One big reason is that education is often too theoretical. In many places, students spend years of studying mainly to pass exams. They memorize theories, write assignments, prepare for final exams, and complete the degree. But when they enter the workplace asks for something different. It asks for communication, problem solving, confidence, digital skills, teamwork, practical experience, customer handling, business understanding, and technical ability. And many graduates realize that the real world does not work exactly like the classroom. But this does not mean theory is useless. Theory is important, but theory alone is not enough. Graduates have degrees, but not always the practical skills employers are looking for. And when that happens, employers say we cannot find skilled workers, while the graduate says we cannot find jobs. Both sides feels frustrated, and when both sides are frustrated, it shows that the bridge between education and employment is weak.
Today, we have youth unemployment, which is as high as 20.7% in 2020.
After graduation, people do not ask what you studied. They ask what you're doing now. How much is your salary? Are you applying for government jobs? What is your next plan? These questions do not feel normal anymore. They feel heavy because after graduation, society expects you to move forward quickly. But instead, many graduates are still trying to figure out their own life. They smile outside but silently compare themselves with friends. And today, social media makes this pressure even stronger. You see someone in Australia buying a car, someone in Canada sending money home, someone in Dubai posting travel photos, and someone posting about a new job. And suddenly, your own life starts feeling slow. So even if you're trying your best, this comparison can quietly push people to think, maybe I should also leave. Maybe I'm wasting time here. I feel that young graduates are not running away from hard work. Maybe they are running away from a system where hard work does not clearly lead to progress. So what needs to change? First, I believe students should not only study to pass exams. They should be guided to think about their career path much earlier on in their life. I also feel that colleges and industries need to work much more closely together. Student needs internship that actually teach them something, career guidance that actually helps them, mentors who can show them the real world. So let's go back to Karma. In 2015, he graduated with hope. He believed education would open the door to a better life. And in one way, it did. It gave him knowledge, confidence, and a starting point. For years, Karma had to struggle, adjust, and rebuild his path. And today, his story looks different. He is happily married, has one child, and now lives in Perth, Western Australia, with a stable job and a better life. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comment, do you think education still guarantees a better future in your country, or has that promise already changed? So I'll see you in the next video.